Hey there, it's Jen. Welcome to my messy desk. I have the Allie Edwards Play Story Kit on my desk, and I wanted to show you what I'm going to do with this kit today. So I thought I would tell a more literal story about playing today, and I'm using these photos of some puzzles that I've done recently. I've been obsessed with doing puzzles. I've always loved puzzles my whole life, but right now I am fully obsessed again with them, and so I wanted to document that. So what I did was print off my puzzles on my photos. I'm going to punch these into circles. I'm not exactly sure what size yet, but I have a bunch of punches and dies next to me so I can figure that out. I have some of the cards that I thought might work with this layout, and I don't know which ones I'll use, but I've pulled those out. And then all of my embellishments are here to the side. What I wanted to show you was that I took the digital version of the word play and I cut it out on my silhouette 6 times. Really, I probably only need 5. But what I wanted to do was I matched the colors to the rainbows because I wanted to create a fun title where I can use the white on top and then have the other colors peeking out behind it in rainbow order. So that's kind of what my goal is. They'll just be offset slightly so that you can see the next color and the next color. So we'll see how that works out. But that's where I'm starting, and I will put you on fast forward and talk you through my process. So I'm starting with that word play that I cut out multiple times, and I just grabbed some scraps from my stash to figure out which colors would match that rainbow the best. But you could also use like inks or sprays if you don't have a whole bunch of different colors of cardstocks. But here you can see I'm just kind of laying it on to see how it will kind of layer up together. And I decided to just start with the bottom layer, and I'm going in the order that the rainbow is on those little rubber pieces. And I'm going to just use my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive, which is my favorite adhesive of choice right now, and I am layering those up. So if you're looking at the video right now, it's hard to tell between the blue and the green, but there is a slight, I'm just slightly offsetting it so that you get just a peek of each color, and you'll see it in the close-ups even better. I think it looks really fun. You could just do the colors, but I really wanted to do the white on top and just have the color peeking through because this layout is already going to be a color explosion, which in the end, I'm not sure how much I love the fact that it's a color explosion, but it is what it is, and I had fun making it, so that's what matters, right? I'm going to go ahead and punch out my photos. So I printed them all at 4x6 and figured I could just punch them smaller. And I decided to just use this one circle punch that I have. I think it's about a 4-inch punch. And I have 4 photos, which is weird. And I thought maybe I would only use 3 of them because I like things in 3s. But I go ahead with the 4 photos. And now what I'm doing is I decide that I want to put 3 rainbows. And I'm going to punch out different sizes of white circles to fit the different rainbows. And so I will have a large, a medium, and a small, and I am punched out a cardstock circle to kind of offset it behind the white, just like I did on the title. I'm going to use that chipboard piece that says "So Darn Fun," and then I also wanted to use this fun card that has this colorful pattern on it from the kit, and I just punched some circles out of that as well. So circles everywhere, and I love it. So these iridescent kind of holographic foil hearts are super cute, and I love them, but you'll see that I'll try to use those multiple times, and in the end I felt like it was just a little too much. What I ended up with is a little too much, if I'm being honest, but you know, we'll get there. Okay, so I am trying to figure out, I'm going to do one more little white circle with a colored offset circle next to it for this last rainbow, and I decide to go with red, and then I have my different pieces. So right now I'm just kind of gathering all the pieces I'm going to use, and then I will arrange them. So I wanted to use this card that says "Play looks like this right now" for my journaling. And so I didn't have a punch that was this size, so I just grabbed a die, and I'm going to die cut out a circle there. It's about a 3-inch circle. and that will work perfectly for my journaling. And I want to make sure that I don't place the journaling and the title too close to each other, because they both say the word play on it, and that will bother me. In fact, it kind of bothered me that they both said play on it anyway, and maybe I thought about switching it out, but I don't. So here's where I take off everything, and I'm kind of trying to figure out how I want to lay this all out. So I like the way the word play kind of fits around that circle on the top, and I think I'm going to do that. And then I'm just overlapping some of them and grabbing some of the circles and overlapping those onto the photos. And I've got my 3 rainbows, and now I'm going to add in my little colorful pieces that I punched out, and just trying to figure out where everything will lay nicely. And like I said, it's a bit of a color explosion. I feel like this would have worked really, really well with black and white photos, but I couldn't do my colorful puzzles in black and white, so it is what it is. I'm going to pop up each one of the little rainbow pieces just on some really thin foam, and I like the way that looks. I haven't attached the rainbows yet. I'm just getting all of the circles down first. So I had it all laid out, and you can see I'm just kind of pulling off circle by circle each one so that I can get it added to the background, so I don't have to move everything off, because I'll never get it the same. So I hurried into my journaling on this little play card, and I just talked about how I'm obsessed with puzzles right now, and ones with lots of bright rainbow colors are my favorite, and I have so much love for puzzles. So when I punched that circle that the journaling's going over, I don't know if you can see it, but I accidentally punched off the edge a little bit. So I'm covering up where it's a straight edge and it's not completely circular with the journaling card. And I decide to move that down a little bit so that it goes, I'm gonna have a few things off the edge on both the bottom and the side. And then since these 2 photos were overlapping, I decided to pop that bird one up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck my words so that I'm moving it down a little so I have room for the word play at the top. But I'm going to tuck it so that the L and the A are kind of underneath the photo, and the P and the Y will rest on top of the photo. And I like the way that looks. So just getting these other circles in place. And yeah, I'm just kind of overlapping some of them, leaving some of them so they're not overlapping anything, some of them going off the edge, all that kind of stuff. And now I decided to add a word to my title, and I'm going to make this into puzzle play. So I'm just using this alphabet that was from the type story kit, and Allie brought it back into her shop recently because there was a demand for it. It's a great little typewriter font. So I'm just stamping out the word puzzle with some black Butte Allie Edwards ink, and there's my title. It fits in nicely right there, I think. And here's where I'm going to I'm going to glue down my rainbows, and then I'm using some red line tape for that, because with rubber shapes you have to be careful what adhesive you use, and that is one that I know will work well. And then I'll just do all 3 of those little rainbows. I love those little rainbows. They're so cute. So I did get the add-on package of the rainbows, but the regular Play Story Kit comes with 3 already, so you can do this same thing even if you only got the regular kit. But I did get the extra ones because I love them so much. So I just trimmed off the edges that were hanging over, and now I'm going to play with these hearts, and I really, really do love them, but I just couldn't make it work. It felt like too much. I hope that you can see what I mean when I say that, because everywhere that I put them, I was just like, it just felt like one more thing that didn't necessarily need to be there, and that was kind of distracting. And so I decided against it, and instead I went around every single circle and I outlined them with my black pen. And at first I just did the circles with the photos, but then I decided that I would like it around all of the circles, and it gives it a playful feel, which is definitely fitting. And so I really like the way that came out. So just adding all of those circles. This is where I'm looking at it, trying to decide, do I do all of them? And then I say yes. This layout is a little bit lacking in different kinds of textures. I could have added some stitching or some staples, but I was just kind of feeling a little bit lazy. It does have the texture of the rubber and the chipboard, but generally I like a little bit more. Maybe I'll go back and stitch around the outside border or something, but I'm happy with the way that it turned out. So, you know, you just do what you want to do. So I thought one more time I would try to use these little circles, but it just ends up not quite looking right. So they are going to go away. The last kind of finishing touch that I add are some of these little black word stickers, and I really like the contrast of the black with all of that white and color. And at first I thought I would put one below each rainbow, but instead I decided to kind of build a little cluster on some of the circles, and that helps to break it up just a little bit, and I feel like that helps it feel a little less overwhelmingly colorful somehow. And so I'm doing a little cluster of 3 at the right, 1 at the top there, and then I'll put a couple at the bottom as well. So after I add those, the last thing that I add is I go on my phone and I'm looking up the dates that I took these photos so that I know the dates that I did the puzzles. And I'm just using my tiny roller date stamp to stamp a date next to each photo. And I really like the way that looks. And so these are just different puzzles that I did in August. So each one has the date stamped next to it, and that is going to finish it. So I have some close-up photos coming up here at the end so you can see the little details, and you can see that play word is coming up in the next couple slides here, how it layered together. I really like the look of it. Here it comes right here. Very cute. And that is it. So I hope that you enjoyed. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to leave a comment. Here are a couple other videos you might enjoy, and thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you back here again very soon.